Hey guys, Manga here with another back to the basics video for you beginners on how to draw faces with a 3/4 view, 3/4 perspective, angle, whatever you want to call it. All from the perspective of someone who makes comics. For those who don't know, I'm the creator of Apple Black, published and serialized on Saturday AM. Please, if you guys are enjoying this playlist, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and hit that bell so you stay notified each time I upload absolutely anything. More details on that at the end of the video. The same way I start out for beginners, we're going to start off with a circle here just to make it easier for you guys. I just want you guys to know that these guidelines are not there for you to keep using over and over forever. They're there to give you, support, training wheels. You use them just enough and eventually you don't need them anymore. That's the goal. So here we start a circle and we're going to split it into 4 parts. And then I'm going to have like a simple shape hitting the bottom of the circle. And that's just going to let me know where the ear is going to be. Because if we're going to be seeing the character from a 3/4 view, 3/4 view, we're only going to be seeing one ear. Then I have these lines on the side. Again, just to keep things in order, they will come in handy as you will see. With the ear, it's only going halfway in that box for that square at the bottom right. And then on the bottom left, where the circle starts to curve in, that line there that goes halfway across both squares is the eye line. And then we're going to do this curve and then pull it back down for the cheekbones and then connecting it with the jaw. How long you want this to be depends on your style, depends on the character, the facial structure. Keep in mind that people have different facial structures, so don't put yourself in a corner. This is just a tutorial, but feel free to adjust things accordingly. And then halfway is where the jaw, or at least where I want it to end. It's not precise, again, because people have different facial structures, but it's going to be in that area. And then the place where the ear ends and half of that box in the bottom right is where the jaw starts to come down, and then do a little curl, a very sharper curve to give us the rest of the jaw. And halfway in the bottom right box where the curl hits the line that goes vertically across is where we draw the line straight down for the back of the neck. And then the front of the neck is a line somewhere in the area of the jaw, whether it be in the middle, at the tip, whatever. It kind of depends on how muscular the character is, how thick the character's neck is, but obviously for this tutorial, keeping it simple, we're just going somewhere where the jaw meets, where they connect at the bottom, somewhere in the middle, and we're just drawing a line down. Then from that line from the jaw, where it hits the line that goes across vertically in the lower left square, that right there, we form the nose. And it's a simple line going straight down towards the left, and then once it hits that line, it curves back in. This obviously depends on your style and the shape of nose of your character. Sometimes it could be more straightforward, but in some cases it could be organic like so. So there are some curves here and there. Obviously the human body is not straight like that, but again, it depends on your style. Again, if you revisit my video on drawing the human face from a frontal view, like a more basic beginner view, I like to have the mouth in that area from one end of the jawline to the other, like just where that sharp curve begins, and then I put it in there. And then go back up where the eye begins. Those boxes, I'm having a vertical line that goes across to let me know where the eye begins. Now, in those spaces over there, as you can see, let's call one A and let's call the other B. No matter what, this space for A is always going to be less than B. But I'm going to leave it up to you and your style, how you want to, position that. So you have to leave that space, in between the eyes. And then it starts there, connecting to the other end. I also have a video on the eye. You can revisit that. This is, that rhombus-ish organic shape with the brown edges. Seeing most of the eye before we decide, what the expression is going to be. But this is basically it. So clearly, because it's a 3/4 view, we get to see more eye on one end than the other. Having the lines at the top to mimic, to indicate lashes, eyelashes. Again, I recommend you check out my video on eyes. And then for the mouth, depends on your style. It could literally be just that, a little dash, or you could have it feel more organic. as you'll see in a second. Sometimes I continue the line with the nose, do a little curve, and make sure the lips don't go further out than the nose, winging it, eyeballing it from this angle. It doesn't pop out more than the nose pops out, like the bridge of the nose. If not, it'll look weird. Again, all depends on your character, but for this character, it's not supposed to do that. It lets me know where the upper lip begins, and then where the where the mouth actually happens, and then the lower lip. Again, mouths are usually not just straight like that, depending on your style, but for my style, that's not how it works. In my style, it does a little stretched out M, and then you have lines to indicate lower lip and upper lip. And now that's how it will look if it's in front, right? If we're looking at the character head on. But where the M happens will happen more towards the left, given the way the character is facing right here. You can see these guidelines to let you know. If it was straight on, it would be somewhere in the middle. But since the character is facing that angle, that line that goes across, that vertical line, will be shifted a bit. And then you can still have your lines to indicate the lips. Again, this is my style. If you want to follow it, you're welcome. And for the most part, this is pretty much done. The rest is just doing finishing touches, eyes, eyebrows, and then just going from there and putting it with the rest of the features for the character, however the character looks. Eyebrows will kind of start somewhere in the middle there. You guys can kind of follow along like an observational tutorial and kind of see where I start to do the eyebrows. Again, I go into more detail where you get more of an understanding in my how to draw eye video, which will be linked in the video cards or in the description below. So here I put in the eyebrows. I like to have the eyebrows really serve as a roof or ceiling for the eyes. So that's one eyebrow, giving a little style. And then seeing as it's a 3/4 view, we're not going to get all of the eyebrows for the other side. If that part's a D, the D is on the other side, so we don't get to see it. We might see that little thing that pops up at the edge, given the style of the eyebrows here. So I'm just going to put that in, and you can have lines to just guide you and make sure they're on the same level. Since even though this is a 3/4 view, it's still a character that's pretty straightforward. There's nothing, the angles aren't really steeped at all. It's not a bird's eye view, anti-view. It's pretty straight on to simplify it for you guys. You guys can experiment, but this is a good place to start from. Now I'm drawing in the ears. This is how I draw ears. Obviously, there's several styles and ways for people to draw ears. Even in real life, when you look at real references, people have different ears sometimes. Underneath, the jaw is usually always shaded, but just in general comics, or in American comics, Japanese comics, it really doesn't matter. Underneath the jaw is usually shaded. And then you have that line, vertical line going down from the jaw. You can point that, keep taking that down if you want the character to kind of still be facing as a 3/4 view. You have that line go across that vertical line, stretch down from the jaw just a little bit. It's almost like it's mapping the rest of the body, and then you can see where it's coming down. And then you fill out the rest of the shoulders, and obviously we'll see more of one shoulder than the other and things like that. But we're not going to go into too much detail with this. We're going to focus mainly on the face. And you can have a little dash line there to indicate where the nostrils are going to be, and this is your character's face. Then you can start putting in things like the iris and the pupil, and putting things for the hair and all of that, a beard. But I'm going to morph the character a little bit. This is what you can also do to kind of morph it to your will, to have the character look how you want them to. So I'm going to be turning this character into my original character, Damon, from my series, BACASSI, and I'm going to be tweaking things a little bit. Again, changing that mouth to be just a little open, and that's the same deal as before, but now we're going to have a little more of an opening at the bottom. And then we have the lines to indicate where the lips start and begin, where the lips go for the upper lip and the lower lip. Maybe give them a little bit of smile, so give it a little curl at one of the edges, or both. But again, since it's a 3/4 view, one of the edges would pop out. We will see more of the smirk on one end than the other. Giving him a little bit of the crazy eyes is what you do, where you put the pupil and you don't have it touch any of the edges indicating the opening of the eye. But I don't even really want that. Again, I highly recommend you check out my videos on eyes and drawing the head straight on, because I think that will help you leading into a tutorial. This is a little more difficult than those ones. Putting a little bit of lines into the eyebrows close to the bridge of the nose. That's more of like an expression thing, where I'll have tutorials on expressions and we can dive into that a little further. And now watch as I kind of erase parts of the guidelines that I've put so far to truly morph this character into what I want it to be, and still keep the positions that I've formed based off the guidelines. And now I'm just going to be making the character look a little more how I want them to look, more like Damon from BACASSI. See, I haven't really changed anything, but I've tweaked the features just a tad bit. But where they're being placed, none of that really changed. Feel free to morph, if you're following me in this tutorial, morph the character to something completely different. I feel like being able to do that would really help you understand how to draw faces from these angles, and maybe even more, and help you understand that a whole lot better. Now I'm going to be doing the same thing, but this time I'm going to be doing it with a female character also from BACASSI, but this time Shauna. She's not necessarily human, she's humanoid, but she's a demon within the series. And then I'll be using the same techniques, where we start with a circle, we split it into 4 parts, then we have that ear that we know is going to hit the bottom of the circle. Again, we have that curl. This time she's facing the other side, so the curl happens on the other end. The line begins where the ear and the curl meets, and then you follow the full guidelines, but that's what happens with time, right? As time goes on and you're used to drawing these things, you'll be using less and less of the guidelines. Same trick as before, figure out the nose, and then lines to let me know where the position of the eyes kind of are going to be placed. A and B, remember, A less than B. Do my organic rhombus shape for the eye, then doing the same thing for the other side, but less so. I kind of want her to have thicker lips, so I act accordingly. And then, again, now I've figured out most of it, and it's just time to put it together and add all the features. So watch me do that. Also, again, she's a demon, so there are other features that she has, like I'm giving her pointy ears, she has a horn, so it'll also be cool for you guys to see me put all of that together. Now I'm going to just erase some of the guidelines before I then go into detail, because I know where everything's going to be positioned. I'm not really thinking about getting the proportions wrong or blah blah blah. Everything's just going to be as I want it to be. One thing I will say is I'll be playing with her expression here. Is going to be a little dead eyes, where it's kind of lazy eye. I have the full position of the eye, but I'm going to be cutting it in half, and then the top will be used as an eyelid. Again, I reference my how to draw eye video, and I think that will help sell a little further what I'm talking about. See, I'm kind of cutting it in half, and that's just thicker at the top because I'd like to have thicker lines to indicate lashes, especially for feminine characters, or at least characters that wear makeup. And then the lashes at the edge, because it's kind of side view. Because of that, we're going to see more lashes fly off the frame, at least fly off the silhouette of the head, having her look off to the side a little bit. And I start to put out the rest of her features. And then once you're done with that, you're done with that. I'm just going to finish up the drawing here with a little inking, and then clean it up afterwards with my eraser. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, don't forget to like this video. United States to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you stay notified each time I upload absolutely anything. Please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, everything. The list goes on. I'm gonna try and see if I can add live streams into my whole, get up. Check out both my series, Apple Black and BACASSI. Links to everything and how to read everything will be in the description, including where you can find it in our Saturday AM mobile app. It's free, and Apple Black will be returning with Volume 3 content in the app this summer. Details on everything about the app and how you can use it and all of that will be linked in the description as well. Get 2 free months of Skillshare, you're welcome. It's Manga, and I'm outie.